In this third tutorial in our Orbit 20 series, we're going to take a look at the File Manager. The File Manager in the standalone mode, as you can imagine, manages the files on your SD card. You can do things like copy files, protect files, move files, mark files, all sorts of different things, and create folders. So let's take a look at the different things that we can do with this. The first thing I'm going to do is turn the reader on. It was in standby. Very well. So it says, okay, perfect. So I'm going to go to the top of my file list. In order to do that, I can do a space with that's 1, 2, 3. Go to the top of my list here. There we go. Okay, I think I had to really quick. There we go. All right. There we are. So I'm going to show you the difference between a folder and a file. What's interesting about the way that this system is organized is that files and folders are kind of jumbled together. They're not really separated like they are a lot of times on your computer. You'll come up with like a bunch of folders and then there's all your files. So you really need to check to see what you're looking at. So this one says Bookshare. So I'm going to put my fingers up on this navigation cross area and use the right arrow. And I'm reading folder, so it's a folder. I'm going to press right again to find more information out. It tells me that there are 2 items in this folder. Now it's saying that the date it was modified. It's going to give me that. And then it's going to cycle right back to the name of the folder. So again, in order to cycle through the information you're going to use your right or your left navigation keys. To move to the next item in the folder list, you're going to use your down arrow. And this next item says Getting Started. This is one of the files that came on the SD card that came with the Orbit. So if I want to find out more information about that, I'm going to use my right arrow. And it says position, and this tells you kind of where you are in the file, and I'm really not entirely sure of the point of that, but it's good to know. Right arrow again, and it's going to tell me the size. Right arrow again, and it's telling me the date it was modified. And now it's telling me that this file is unprotected. And as you can imagine, that means that this file is editable. If you have a student that, I don't know, has busy fingers, or maybe if you have busy fingers, and you want to make sure that the file that you have is not editable, you can protect it. And in order to do that, you can do a space with the letter P, and you're going to get a message that says file is protected, or if it's not protected, you'll get a message that says file is unprotected. So this is a toggle. So protect, not protect, protect, on and off. So that's kind of the way that works. So I'm going to unprotect that file because I might need to do something with it later. Yep. Here we go. So file is unprotected. Here we go. So in order to exit this message, I'm going to hit a .7 because when you get a message, you've got to get out of it. Okay, and then here's this Getting Started again. So we found out all the information that we needed to know about this file. So we're going to keep going down. So if I want to, I'm going at sample files. Now I have another folder. Technology folder. Yeah, I remember making that. So there's all sorts of different ones. So if I want to, though, if I press down again, then there's a user guide. But if I press down again and I continue to press it, I'm at the bottom. So if I want to go to the top again, it's pretty easy. Or if I know the name of the file or the folder that I want, I can start typing it. So I typed BOOK, and here I am, Bookshare. So you can do that, but you have to type it relatively quickly in order to get the Orbit to recognize it. So that's how you navigate your files in your folders. Now, what if I wanted to enter this Bookshare file, or folder, I'm sorry. If I wanted to enter this folder, I'm going to use a .8. And here is something that's in here. I actually had copied the Getting Started guide into this Bookshare folder and made it protected so that my students couldn't mess with it. So if they needed to look at it, And another thing I have in here, I use a down arrow again, is the book of Mice and Men that I pulled down from Bookshare. Perfect example of a file you're going to want to protect because you don't want your student messing with it. And we've covered how to do that already. So if I want to back out of the folder, and then, you know, what I wanted isn't in here, I'm going to use the back command with the .7. And here it is, it says Bookshare again. Now, if I wanted to add something to the Bookshare folder, I could, using some standard commands that we are already familiar with, but you might not realize that you are. For example, to copy a file, you are going to use your, what they used to call chord, and you're going to hold down your space and the letter C for copy, which is, you know, pretty standard. To cut the file, it's going to be a space with an X. To paste the file in a location, it's going to be a space with a V. You can also mark more than one file to be moved, cut, or copied by using a dot or a space with the letter M for mark. So I'm just going to show you really quick how to, I'm going to create a new folder. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that with a space with the letter O. Okay, now I don't know if you can see this, but take my word for it. The words new folder have dots 7 and 8 underlining it. That's letting me know, hey, you can modify that. So I'm going to call it, I don't know. Today's Tuesday. We'll call it Tuesday. And grade 1 Braille. So Tuesday. And then I'm going to use the .8. And it's going to say Tuesday. I'm going to use .8 again, and that will open the file. And, or I'm sorry, open the folder, and it's saying there's no files. So again, you're going to do the space with O to create a folder. You're going to name the folder. You're going to hit your .8 to create it, and then your .8 to enter it. So now there's no files in this folder now. So I want to go back. If I want to exit the folder again, I'm going to use .7, come back here. And here it says Tuesday, which is the name of the folder. And suppose I want to actually go to the user guide. And here it is, user guide. And I want to copy that. So I'm going to do a space with a C to copy it. And as you'll notice, it doesn't really do anything, but that's okay. Then we're going to come up to the Tuesday folder. I'm going to enter it by hitting a .8. And it says no files. So we're going to do a space and a V to paste. Come on. There we go. I don't know. Sometimes it really doesn't do it exactly. So there you go. So I'm going to use the .7. And here's my Tuesday file, or folder, I'm sorry. I'm going to enter it. And see, here's the user guide right there. We do not want to enter the user guide right now because we're going to cover how to read a file in another tutorial about reading files and commands to do that. If I wanted to delete the file or a folder that I created, I could do that with hitting a space with the letter D. So I'm going to do a space D, and it's going to ask me to confirm again. I'm going to confirm with a .8, and it has been deleted. And because it says no files in this folder. Now if I go backwards and find the folder called Tuesday, I can now delete that. And it says confirm, and it's gone. So I'm going down, and here's the user guide file, and here is a technology folder, but Tuesday is gone. So if I wanted to delete the technology folder, space D, confirm, and there we go. So that's pretty much what we've got here. In our next tutorial, we're going to cover how to read a file, and either in that tutorial or the following one, we will cover editing files in standalone mode and some tips and tricks on how to make that maybe a little easier. So we'll see you next time.